co-founder of the 100 Collection, an insider's guide to the best vacation rental stays, and fractional CMO. Today, I'm here with Matt from Xplorie. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Rebecca. Thank you for having me. This is fun and exciting. It's different than a podcast. We got the whole video side, so this is good. I have to watch I have to be careful of the appearance, unlike a podcast.
Yeah,
you can do it in your pajamas.
Watching you.
That's right.
So I'm excited to have this conversation today because you're a leader in this space. So I would love to hear what Xplorie is all about.
Sure. Well, thank you for the leader tag. I'm not sure it's deserved, but I certainly appreciate it, and I'll take the compliment. So Xplorie is the leading provider of activity solutions and guest engagement tools to the vacation rental industry. We partner with property managers in about, depending upon how you count them, 60 to 70 destinations throughout the U.S. We're also now over in England, and we'll be in Dubai this winter. And our tools are used in about 24,000 vacation rentals across those markets. The best way of thinking about Xplorie, and I know we'll kind of dive into it a little further, but best way is our solutions better connect the best local activities and attractions with the vacation rental companies in ways, though, that better engage their guests, with an ultimate goal of, hey, how do I drive guest loyalty? How do I drive ADR? How do I drive occupancy? And there's a role that these local activities and attractions can play in that. And our technology set of tools really enables that for the property managers.
Okay, so really the end goal is that connection, that loyalty, that getting to know the local space, the local market, the local destination. So when it comes to the actual tools and services that connect those, do you stick with the same technology and tools and solutions for every partner you work with, or have you noticed that those tools have evolved over time?
Yeah, they've certainly evolved over time. I mean, we've got a kind of a core product that, I'd say 16, 17,000 of our partners or our vacation rentals run, but we kind of go, each partner's got their own business objectives, right? They've got their own goals for their brand. And we think it's really important. We've got solutions that can solve a number of different business objectives. And so our process is very, I would say, it's a consultative sale, if you will, for our salespeople, in that you've really got to understand, why is this partner come to Xplorie, right? No partner picks up the phone and calls a vendor. I mean, I hate to say it in our space, there's so many vendors, right, providing some incredible technology solutions, but once you kind of get on a vendor's radar, you realize, hey, they're going to sell you and this. So no one gets to that stage without really having thought through, okay, I've got some objectives or maybe some KPIs that I don't fully feel like I'm reaching, or areas where I think my performance could be better. And so our thought is to make sure we really understand those. And that way we're applying the best tool or the best solution that we have, or it may be that our tool set isn't right what's best for them, that they've kind of misunderstood what Xplorie is. And so, but from that, to kind of answer your question more specifically, so we've got a solution called Experience Pro, which is our most popular. It's kind of our legacy solution, which is where our partners are providing complementary activities to the best local activities and attractions every day of a guest stay. So this is a way of truly differentiating your product, getting outside of the four walls of the vacation rental that you have and saying, okay, how do I best leverage these local activities so that people choose my home over maybe one of my competitors' homes? In many ways, if you think about it, the local activities and attractions are no different than a 6-seater golf cart here at the beach or a hot tub in the mountains of Colorado. Guests are looking for value today. And if they see that through, some complimentary tickets to activities they were going to do anyways, they immediately understand that that's a real savings and a real value. And I think that's part of what makes Xplorie very unique is we've not taken that cookie cutter approach to activities and attractions saying, oh, just sell your guest stuff. Right. And so that's kind of the direction that product is headed. But we also then have, all the way to kind of our entry level product, if you will, which is, we serve as an on-demand concierge service for, vacation rental managers who maybe aren't looking to provide that kind of, more differentiated complementary activities package, but they still want to provide a way for guests to better plan and book all of their tickets and do it through a curated list of truly the best local activities and attractions. And they're not left wondering, who do we go to for deep sea fishing? Or
I was going to say, like, I don't want to be the cruise director.
Right. That's right. Right. And, for a lot of these families, it does fall on one person who has not only had to pick out this home, and if it, heaven forbid, if it's multifamily and they've got, or multi-generational, they're coordinating all this. And then of course, at the end, it also falls on that person. Everybody gets there and goes, okay, what are we doing? So, I think a lot of our solutions are also there to really curate that list of truly the best activities and attractions and make it easily directly bookable for these guests so they can go to one place, know they're getting the best deal possible, and book everything. And it's about now building a better overall brand experience, even outside of the walls of the rentals.
So what does your kind of ideal client or partner look like?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I don't know that we have an ideal. I can tell you what our typical client looks like. So our average client at Xplorie manages about 150 vacation rentals or so. We've got some that manage multi-thousands, but we've got some that are managing 25, 30, and they may be early in their business, kind of journey, and they're just kind of getting started out. What's more important for us is the mindset of the partner, and here's what I mean by that. And I talked to our client success team a lot about this. The ideal Xplorie client is looking to truly make that guest experience part of the brand they're building. And that sounds kind of obvious, but if you think about it, there's some really good brands in the vacation rental industry who are truly building their brand about being a low-cost provider. And that is a solid business strategy. Now, I will tell you, there's not a lot of room for many of those, right? It can be a little bit of a race to the bottom, but if you can build the efficiencies and you can get the right type of inventory, there are, guests all over the world that, a budget is a very real thing. And if you can be $5 or $6 less expensive, that's going to win you some stays. And I think those probably aren't the best partners for Xplorie. We joke a little bit but a lot of our partners, that's not to say, although we have some really high-end units, most of our partners, I would not say are managing exclusively, beachfront, 10,000 plus a week type homes. We've got a lot that's kind of that middle of the road, but here's the difference in what we talk about. Our clients will tell you, maybe not in these exact words, but I want to be Target to Walmart, right? Cost still matters with my product, but my guests understand they may pay a little bit more. That may be 10 or 15, $20 a night more, but they have an overall better experience, right? You go to Target, the aisles are a little wider. Everything's kind of where it's supposed to be. It's a little brighter. You just, nothing against Walmart. Again, they fill a necessary role. But for us, that mentality of, hey, I want to leave a lasting impression from the moment they arrive, from the moment they book, all the way through the experience. That's the perfect property manager, whether they manage, 2 or 2,000.
Okay. So in those instances, it seems like it might be market sensitive. So is there a specific prerequisite to working with you guys? Do you have to be in a certain location?
No, we do. So we don't typically go into brand new markets until we've got about 100 vacation rentals or so. And that's really because in order to leverage the size so that you can get the deals you need to provide some complementary activity stuff, you've got to drive enough buying power in a market. And we find that, with 100 units or so in an area, we're able to really secure those activities that your guests are looking to. And we're kind of in an interesting spot because we're really a three-sided marketplace in that, we've got the guests, which are not our guests, but they're our partners' guests. You've got the property managers, but we also have our activities, and we need to make sure that we're going to drive them enough business to be meaningful for them. So, so we're all constantly looking for new destinations, but it is a little tougher. We've got that prerequisite when we go in there. And we've actually had some partners in some areas come together and they say, hey, I've got 60, but I've got a really close friend who's, a competitor, but we work really well together. And she's got 80. If we both came, would you guys mind expanding into this area? And that's really exciting, right? Because now you're working and we build them different programs. So they get to build something that's unique to them, but they get to kind of come together to bring Xplorie into their community. And I would mention too, that's one thing that I think is really cool about Xplorie is for the most part, and we've got some large national activities, but for the most part, our activities are the mom and pop deep sea fishing boats, right? The parasail. It really is, it's neighbors helping neighbors. And all we're doing is building a very efficient platform that allows them to more easily send business back and forth. But it's reinforcing that community that really is it's just so reminiscent of our entire industry. It's tough for these big national brands to break in because in each of these destinations, there's that great local, vacation rental provider and those great local activities. And we think it's really cool to connect them and allow them to work better together.
So the property management company, you're saying, can customize what their arrangement looks like.
Yep, that's right. So, I'm sitting here along the Emerald Coast in Destin, Florida. We probably have 2,500 vacation rentals here, maybe across, I don't know, 20, 25 different partners. And I think almost all of them here provide complimentary activities with their stays, but not one of them is their set of complimentary activities the same as any of the others. So we've probably got 70, 80 different attractions here, and we sit down with them and we talk to them. Look, you need to have a couple things that are inside activities because when it rains, those phones, right, are blowing up because those parents are like, look, we got to get out of this house. And we need the trampoline parks right now. The escape rooms are very popular for things. You need a couple of what we call the sizzle. People are going to book for complimentary golf in this area. They're going to book for complimentary deep sea fishing, the water park, things like that. So you need one or two of those. And then you have that stuff that is your standard everyday, the complimentary ice cream that they're going to use almost every day as a family. So you need a good mix. But from that, we kind of advise them, but then we sit down and they kind of talk about who their demographic is. Are you families? Are you high end? And then we build them a program that not only really fits their ADR, their average rate, but also fits their clientele. And then what's really fun is our client success team sits down with them at the end of every year and we rotate a couple of new activities in and some out. Sometimes the price goes down. Sometimes their price may go up a little. That's really not the point. It's about, hey, let's give you something new to be talking to about your guests. So as you're talking to them about booking next year's stay, you can say, oh, by the way, next year we're going to be offering, X, Y, and Z. It's something different than they maybe thought to enjoy this past trip. So that's fun.
And so if I am interested, but I don't want to commit to this on all 100 of my properties, right? Like if I'm like, can I commit to this on just half of my inventory? Is that possible?
It is. It used to not be. And as you can imagine that, every product's got their barriers to sale, right? And that was always tough, especially as we got some of our larger partners. So all we ask today is that if you want to provide complimentary activities, that the rest of them at least have that concierge service, just so they do get something. And, we have some partners who that's exactly what they've done, where they've chosen, hey, I want to take some of my, maybe more premium properties. Maybe I've got 50 of those and I've got 40 that are kind of, a little bit more price sensitive. I want to provide the complementary activities here. And for this other group, we're going to provide the best local discounts we can and that concierge service, but without the expense of some complimentary, because I feel like I've got a little more rate elasticity over in a little bit more of my premium products. So we actually can build multiple programs. And in fact, the other thing we'll do is we've got partners, Panhandle Getaways is a great partner of ours, but Anne has products across different destinations down here. So she's got them over in Panama City Beach. So her properties over there have got different activities than her ones on 30A, than her ones in Destin. And even within the same destination, we can build, maybe your higher end properties are providing golf and deep sea fishing and parasailing, where your lower maybe just provide golf. And so what it does is it allows you not only to differentiate your product across your own website, across the OTAs, but as people are calling in, which still happens today, right? And they're talking to reservationists, they're able to kind of upsell them maybe to that next level up condo, because it's going to provide them, with maybe $400 or $500 more in savings of the things they were going to do anyways, maybe get them to roll that in and upgrade their rental.
Okay. And just my 2 cents here about this
Yeah.
is the branding, right? So like for an overall brand experience, regardless of which individual property you stay in, that in order to maintain that level of consistency across the brand, I agree with having some degree on the spectrum of service like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think it brings up a good point. You and I have talked about this in the past too. I think it's important. All of our programs are branded as our property management partner, right? You may see little powered by Xplorie, right? Xplorie is not trying to become a Viator or a Klook or a Get Your Guide where guests know that that's where I go to book my leisure activities. We want all of the great benefits of having Xplorie need from the guest perspective. Most guests, when they're booking with Xplorie, they think they're booking with their property management company. And that's the goal. So that even if this guest maybe came through Airbnb or Vrbo, they get there, they have that experience, they keep tying it back to that brand. So next time they come back and they book direct, that's really what we're trying to achieve here, not promoting Xplorie's brand.
Okay, perfect. And you started to touch on this a little bit, but do you want to tell us about your happiest customer or like a happy customer story?
Oh, we have so many.
There's so many to pick from.
Yeah. No, I mean, we really do. I think what's really cool is I think a lot of them are happy for different reasons, right? So a couple that come to mind: Winter Park Escapes in Winter Park, Colorado. They joined us. I think they had maybe 30 properties under management at the time. This has been 4 or 5 years ago. I got to believe they're now pushing a couple hundred properties. That was really their goal, was how do we differentiate for our homeowners? So when people come to us and they go, why should we, join you instead of providing our home to X, Y, and Z? And to really watch them and watch them grow has been really cool. We've got a bunch of partners. One of our newer partners who's been really vocal, and a nice little call, but Mountain Laurel Chalet cabins up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Tom Goodwin has just been incredible. He's, so I think he's a really vocal partner. So yeah, I think we have a lot of happy partners. And that's one of the things also we do is we're talking to partners. We don't provide referrals because I think it's kind of like sometimes when you're hiring an employee, any referrals you get or names, they're obviously going to say something good about this employee. So we tell our partners, hey, pick one of our clients. Here's our entire list. Go through the list, and we'll set up the call. And so we've been doing this for 27 years. Yes, this is not new to Xplorie, and I think we've done that because we've got, I think, a 95% plus client retention rate. And it's a big piece of what we do.
I do remember hearing from Tom about the guests saying how much they appreciated their experiences. He was very specific about his guests because they're families, right? And often multi-generational families for Tom. And so he's communicated how much the guests have told him how much that enhanced their stay with him. So I do remember Tom talking
It's
about
one of my favorite. Yeah. And by the way, a proud 100 collection member, and very vocal, proud one. In fact, I just saw a LinkedIn post, I think this morning, from him on a bunch of his 100 collection properties that he has. That's one great thing about Tom Goodwin. If he sees you as a vendor who's really helping move his company, you probably couldn't have a bigger fan, right? And so it's just such an incredible guy. But yeah, and that is something that it's one of the reasons I'm still so passionate about Xplorie is we have a lot, and this isn't true of all of our guests or our partners' guests by any means, but there are a certain number of our partners' guests who come into these markets, and if it weren't for those complimentary tickets, a lot of these things they couldn't afford to do, right? They saved up all year. A lot of us talk about vacations like it's a 2 or 3 times a year type thing. We forget there's a lot of families out there. It's once, it's July, and this is their time to spend time with kids, and knowing that they got to go to Dollywood, or they got to do 1 or 2 things that maybe they were not going to have the budget to do. You want to talk about creating experiences and brand loyalty. It doesn't get much better than that.
I completely agree. I actually saw a sign on social media this morning, this guy standing on the street holding up a sign that says, "How are you all affording Europe?"
Yeah, that's a great, given the price of flights and everything else, it's a very good question.
Okay, so you mentioned Emerald Coast. Is that where you're based?
It is. Well, yeah, to the extent any of these companies are based anywhere anymore. So yes, our corporate office is in Destin, Florida. We've got our technology team. We've got a small office in Charleston, and a lot of our employees, like many of the technology companies today, a lot of them are remote. But we are proud to call the Emerald Coast home. It has been since the company was formed in 1996. And, it keeps us really close, as I think probably one of the top, 3 or 4 vacation markets, probably in the US for vacation rentals. Yeah, it keeps us really close to the industry and what's going on.
True. There's a lot happening there.
There is. Yeah, I'm staring down the road right now. It's bumper to bumper, which in July is great. You think them all every day. Some people sit in traffic and they complain. I sit in traffic in the middle of summer in Destin, Florida, and I think every license plate that I can see.
I am originally from Florida, and I completely understand about thanking others for paying your taxes.
That's it.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I do want to ask, if somebody watches this and wants to get in touch with you or Xplorie, what would be the best next step, or how do they reach out?
Yeah, they can, obviously, Xplorie.com, www.xplorie.com. I love LinkedIn. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I try to respond to everybody who reaches out on LinkedIn. And then via email, I'm happy to answer emails or find you someone on the team. This will be more than likely who actually has the answer. I'll pretend it's my answer, but that's just mloney, Loney, at Xplorie.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you again so much for your time today. It was great to speak with you.
It was great seeing you, as always.
Cheers.
Cheers.